Not only is Cade Cunningham one of the biggest surprises to most NBA analysts, it's also the Detroit Pistons, as they sit at the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference and look like a lock to get into the playoffs about 2/3 into the NBA season. Not to mention, Cade Cunningham is averaging 29 points per game and 10 assists per game over his last 10 games. And let's not also forget that the Detroit Pistons are on an 8-game winning streak. But to a lot of NBA analysts, this is something that we could have expected from Cade Cunningham. We always saw the vision with the high volume of scoring and the big body and the strength that Cade Cunningham possesses, and the ball handling and the pull-up shooting ability and the playmaking aspect of his game. But now this season, it looks like he's finally brought it all together. With pretty lackluster offensive personnel around him and a few years of some injury risks, I think Cade Cunningham hasn't had the ability to show his offensive skill sets and the impact that he truly has on winning. So today on this episode of At the Buzzer Sports, we're going to be talking about Cade Cunningham and how he has impacted this Detroit Pistons team, being the lead guard and the future All-NBA candidate that he's been this season. With the combination of ball handling, pull-up shooting, and playmaking ability, it requires Mikal Bridges to go over this screen and Karl Anthony Towns to play up. This is why Cade Cunningham gets an easier shot at the rim. And with Cade Cunningham's height, he's going to be taller than a lot of opposing guards trying to guard him. Here, he puts James Harden in the post, and he's going to spin off and lean on a much more difficult shot, but with the height and wingspan he has over Harden, he's able to knock this down. Being a pull-up shooting threat and a playmaking threat makes it really hard to play drop against him. So here, Ivica Zubac has to also worry about Jalen Duren as a roller and Cade as a pull-up shooter. And you're going to live with a three-point shot, but Cade can knock those down. Even with all these advantages that Cade Cunningham has as a scorer, with his length, strength, tough shot making, ball handling, and playmaking, because I do believe playmaking and scoring can be on the same string. If you're a really good scorer, it opens up a lot of looks for your playmaking. If you're a really good playmaker, it's going to open up a lot for your scoring. And I think Cade Cunningham really attacks that well. There still are a few deficiencies that I find in his game and a few things that I've seen very little from him this season that I think he can really thrive in, maybe with more usage of that aspect. With Cade's size and strength, I think he could be a really underrated post scorer and post playmaker. Now you have somebody that has a solid touch with his jump hooks, somebody that does struggle with getting separation going to the basket. I think if he can put his back to the basket and be the playmaking threat on top of the post fadeaway threat and the mid-range shooting threat, he's taking about 35% of his shots from 3 to 10 feet. If you can park him in that spot with the strength advantage that he does have, he should be able to get a lot of 1v1 matchups because he's also a playmaking threat, giving him looks like these where he can have lone looks against Austin Reeves with a better look to the basket. This is something we're going to get into later in this video, but he definitely does struggle in one-on-one situations where he has to find himself getting to the hoop a lot more. So if he can get a mismatch like one here, where he can get into a post hook, where he could be a threat as a playmaker and scorer, it could lead. Now, the thing I do think Cade Cunningham has to improve on is his finishing around the rim. His touch around the rim is not the best, and he's not the greatest advantage creator when getting to the rim. He doesn't do the best job of creating advantages to get himself easier looks around the rim. That's why I made the suggestion of him being more of a post scorer, because he can utilize that strength and shot making in the post while also being a plus playmaker for the Detroit Pistons. And sometimes I do see that burst and that level of advantage and separation that he could create in the half court, but sometimes I feel as though he's reading the floor just a little bit too much, and sometimes it takes a little longer for him to decide if he's going to attack as a scorer or make the right play as a playmaker. In this clip here, he's going to show the speed in the open floor, being able to get downhill and get to the basket with his ball handling and playing through contact, getting the finish. Even on the perimeter, I think Cade with his ball handling creates such a separation that he can attack those mismatches once he gets them. In this scenario here, where he moves Dyson Daniels off his spot and is able to get a good look around the rim, finishing with ease. In this setting, Cade Cunningham is going to be on a one-on-one versus Max Strus, and he just struggles to create the separation to get to the rim. And with the help in them gapping in the spaces, he's not able to get a good look, therefore he can't finish. My concern is in a playoff series where teams are really going to be selling out on Cade Cunningham. You know, when he's not really creating separation on the perimeter or getting downhill. Here you can see Josh Green just being able to really stick to his hip, and he could have moved to a floater or just gotten a little bit of separation and baited a foul. Now, teams are really going to make Isaiah Hartenstein and Tobias Harris and Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway beat them in the playoff scenario. So if Cade can't create a good look at the rim consistently with his downhill ability, I would really suggest that he just gets some type of counters or play out of the post more, in my opinion, so he can get some easier shots. Outside of getting to the free throw line, layups are supposed to be the most efficient shot in basketball. And if Cade can't get to it consistently, this is something that I would have a growing concern of now that the Detroit Pistons look to be a playoff team. As you can see here, he struggles to create separation on a smaller Derek White and gets his shot blocked. Like I said earlier, playmaking and scoring is on the same string. Cade Cunningham, like I said earlier, averages 11 possessions out of pick and roll a game. And when he's such a good pull-up mid-range shooter and such a good passer, how do you really defend it? Because now you have somebody who can handle the ball extremely well, has a size and strength advantage, and can also make the proper play in and play out. I think Donovan Mitchell really put himself in a good position on this play, trapping Cade Cunningham as soon as he gets off the screen, but Cade Cunningham adjusts well and throws the lob to Jalen Duren after he sneaks past Evan Mobley. In this clip, Tristan da Silva beats Cade Cunningham to a spot, but Cade is still able to put 2 feet in the paint, allowing Cole Anthony to help off and creates an easy shot for Ron Holland. I think Cade Cunningham's breakout has nothing to do with the talent. We always knew the talent was there. I just think that Cade Cunningham has finally had a decent offensive situation around him to where he could really thrive. In this season, he's really put the NBA on notice, showing the NBA that he could be a franchise guard and an all-NBA caliber player. And this is something that we've seen throughout multiple years, but once again, with the injury history and just the lackluster offensive personnel around him, he wasn't able to show this as much. But I'm extremely happy to see Cade Cunningham thriving in this Detroit Pistons situation and it just finally working out. So if you guys like this type of content, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what film breakdown you guys would like to see next, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.